So today we were filming with Maya Medvesek, aka Nightwave, quite a popular Glasgow techno DJ from Slovenia. We covered off a whole load of topics, including obviously her journey through music, her path to well-being and health, but also her work with Kambo. That actually resulted in me deciding to actually have a go and experience what it was like suffering for my art, if you could call it that. Hey Marc. So I suppose the first thing is thanks very much, Maya. It's nice to be here, and this setup's amazing, so I'm feeling very at home. I'm really curious to begin to hear your journey. You know, obviously you come from Slovenia.
I do, yeah.
And I'm keen to hear about your journey from there to finding your way to sunny Glasgow.
Okay, so I moved to London first, about 18 years ago, something like that, and I've been in Glasgow now for 8 years. So 10 years in London, did the London thing, burnt out in London and decided I don't want to pay ridiculous prices for anything anymore, so I moved up to Glasgow, mainly because I have a lot of amazing friends from here and the music scene is so fantastic. So I love it. I hate the weather, but I absolutely love Scotland. So I'm here forever.
How did you find your way from Slovenia to the UK? Like, what was that drive that saw you to drove you to move?
Yeah, it was a long time ago, so obviously it was before internet, before, it was really, kind of going into the unknown. I mean, I visited a bit before, but Slovenia is very small. There's 2 million people in the whole country. Music-wise, the scene was good, but also there's not much you can... I was very young, very ambitious, very... not naive, but I think I had a lot of courage at that age, and I just wanted to get out there and be a big DJ. And obviously when I moved to London I was like, oh, okay, right, I'm fucking I need to make a lot of money here. So I did all sorts of different jobs. I also went to university and I did a degree in complementary health, so that was maybe 2008 I graduated. So I've always been really interested in alternative medicines and practices and everything like that, but my main passion is electronic music. I've been DJing since I was 15, it's been a slow, quite a hard journey. I guess when social media kind of started, it was easier for me to promote what I do, and then when I started producing as well, I was just so passionate about sharing my stuff, and I'm not so much like that now, but I think at the time I was just really determined to get some kind of success, and a big part of that was also because a lot of people didn't believe in me, or they would tell me that I will never do anything. So of course that gave me way more fire to do what I do. So, wow. And now I'm here.
How did you get into electronic music? We've all, Marc and I are big fans too. I suppose you've been a fan, but you've actually went that next step and became a DJ. Tell us about that.
Well, I'm a raver at heart, always have been, will be.
Aren't we all? So
yeah, so I fell in love with the music, but just the whole clubbing experience has really been almost like therapy to me. It was the first time as a teenager that I had the experience of being in a community where everyone, what it was like in the late 90s in the raves. It was, I've got goosebumps just talking about it, because it really was so special. And so I started going to parties and I got really into the music, and then I thought, wait, I want to DJ as well. I want to do I want to make people dance. I want to do that. I used to do quite a lot of acting in Slovenia actually. So I was in a really bad soap opera for a while, and I made money to buy my first turntables like that when I was 15. And yeah, just a few records, and back we had one record store in Slovenia. There's no internet obviously, so the only way I could like learn more about it or new releases were magazines maybe from Germany that came over. So I was just constantly dreaming about moving abroad and being a part of a bigger scene, I guess.
When you look at them from the outside into the music scene, it looks like a wonderful life, as a DJ, travelling the world, playing in front of big crowds. Is it all that?
No, spoiler. No, obviously it's like it is a huge privilege to do what I do. I finally feel like I deserve to be here and deserve what I do, because sometimes you doubt yourself, and it's difficult, all the touring, the music industry itself, it's not pretty. It's a pretty horrible, like any kind of industry, there's a lot of greed, competition, a lot of hedonism, a lot of insincere people, as well as the most amazing people I've ever met. Can be quite tough, especially as a woman from the start. It's not been easy, and I guess for me the most difficult part was maybe when I started touring a lot and not really knowing how to. I knew how to look after myself, but it came with a lot of anxiety, a lot of expectation to prove myself, or not trusting myself. Imposter syndrome is a very big thing in music. A lot of drugs, a lot of drinking, a lot of just stuff like that. I've lost people I really care about to addictions. At the end of the day, I think a lot of artists, we're doing this for therapy and we love it so much, but sometimes you have to be a bit broken inside to create beautiful art, so there is like a dark side to it, definitely. Everything I listed, is what I went through, especially with the anxiety, depression. My mental health, when you're touring a lot, not sleeping, you're going through different time zones, you're on your own, there's just so many factors where it's difficult. Also other things like, I think things are different now, but for me as just being a woman as well, it was quite hard from the start. There's a lot of misogyny, sexism, a lot of gatekeeping from men. There's abuse, there's predators in the industry. I've had some experiences with that myself, and a lot of my female friends that I know. And then social media is another thing, beautiful tool to promote yourself, but also leaves the door open to a lot of psychos, stalkers, crazies. So all these things. So I struggled a lot with that.
As Maya tried to find balance, deal with anxiety, and look after her health and well-being, she turned towards natural therapies. And having completed a degree in London in complementary therapies, Maya was already very knowledgeable in areas such as aromatherapy, reflexology, kinesiology, and proper nutrition.
I always knew that one day I'm going to come back to healing, but I guess at that, early 20s, I was just so determined to be a DJ and cool DJ and all that shit. But yeah.
Was there a particular maybe breaking point, if you will, that said, right, now I do need to go back and look after myself a bit more, focus on the self-care? Maybe
about 5 years ago I really, really burnt out due to touring. So it really had a massive effect on my mental health, on everything, on my relationships, on losing friends as well, so dealing with grief. So it was just kind of sink or swim, at the time, and that's when I realized I really need to do something about this, because this is another thing, I was always very into alternative therapies. I have many spiritual practices that I do, I go to the Tibetan temple, blah blah blah, but I was still hooked into this kind of darkness of the music industry, and So yeah, I think that's when I started. It was about 5 years ago to really decide I'm going to do something about it. I love all alternative therapies, but I particularly like just the spiritual practices that I have and follow, and obviously meditation is a big part, yoga. I love hypnotherapy. I also qualified in hypnotherapy. I think it's a fantastic tool, very, very powerful. EFT, emotional freedom technique. So it's just tapping. Very, very good. No one really knows exactly how it works, but it does work. So it's free. It's so easy to do. So it's something I would really recommend for people. I'm also really into herbs. So I actually work in a natural remedies shop as well. So I'm training in non-medical herbalism and supplements and nutrition, and I think it's important to just do it holistically. And I'm also a big believer in plant medicines and indigenous practices. So this is something I now dedicate most of my life to, is just studying these traditions, just seeing what it can do for myself and other people.
So plant medicines are something that I think more and more are coming across our paths. We've already had previous conversations with some of our guests. We've heard some amazing stories. We're really curious to hear about your experiences with plant medicine too.
Mm-hmm. The medicine I've worked with the longest would be psilocybin mushrooms, which have been amazing for me. Obviously, so all in ceremonial setting, and also microdosing has been really, really good for all sorts of things, and very, very quick. That's why I love to work with these plants, because when you commit to doing the work, they work with you very quickly, rather than maybe talk therapy or things like that. That can take quite a while. And then, really dedicating to ayahuasca. So I started that maybe about 3 years ago. So I've been doing ceremonies for about 3 years, and just going deeper and deeper with the work. Most recently I'm working a lot with Kambo, which is the Amazonian tree frog. It's been nothing short of miraculous for me, the way it's helped me physically and mentally, and I'm now actually training to be a Kambo practitioner as well. So I'm in it for the long run.
What would you say about the biggest benefits that working with these plants can bring for the average person?
Opening your heart, just opening the path to healing, empowering yourself to heal, because I think we need to all remember with any of these things, it's not actually the the plant or the shaman or whoever that heals you, it's yourself. So it really awakens your personal power to heal. Our bodies are miraculous. We are just these incredible spiritual machines, and it's just knowing that we can do that for ourselves. Just any emotional, mental, physical, any conditions like that, because it works so holistically. And of course, I believe most physical conditions start somewhere with your emotions or your past or trauma. We all have some form of trauma that then manifests physically. So it helps us just to dive into that and understand ourselves, learn about ourselves, who we really are.
You mentioned that Kambo was miraculous for you. Can you talk us through some of the benefits you got and what it's brought you?
I mean, for me, so Kambo, it's a very physical experience. Obviously, it works very quickly, very, very powerful. It's very powerful. It's a fantastic cleanse. But I was really amazed at the effect it had on my mental health. It almost obliterated my anxiety in one session. It was just,
wow.
Just zen. Wow. Really, really amazing stuff. Helped my insecurities, helped my stage anxiety, which I used to have, so for performing and stuff. Obviously at the moment I'm not performing because of thanks COVID, but yeah, and I've seen these changes in other people, and my body's very strong. I have a lot of energy. Yeah, just feel fucking great. Thank you, frogs.
Yes. You touched on the fact that you are a practitioner. I would be curious to find out a bit more about Kambo.
Yeah, so I'm apprenticing at the moment. I think becoming a Kambo practitioner is a long journey and a big commitment to work with the frog, to really see if it's for you. It's very, very responsible work. So yeah, I'm very lucky that I'm training with someone in Glasgow, you know. When was I? Yeah, so I'm hoping that once all this stuff is over, I can go and work with it even more, and you know, go to the rainforest and work with the tribes, so learn how they work with Kambo as well. I was meant to be in a rainforest end of July, but sadly it didn't. Not this time.
It's almost like you're giving back and you're working with the indigenous tribes. Tell us about that work. I'm really fascinated.
So this just came in. It's amazing once you start this path, things just come to you. You know, the weirdest things that you never thought or you dreamed about, they just start coming true. And so that for me was maybe coming just in touch with indigenous culture. So specifically the Huni and Yawanawa tribes from Brazil. So I've sat in some ceremonies, just learning how they approach ceremony, how they approach the healing, and I'm so fucking obsessed with it. You know, I'm learning. I'm trying to study as much as I can, study the songs, sing, just help out. So we do, you know, a bit of fundraising. Now I've started this charity compilation thing called Love Amazonia, please buy. So it's a compilation of different, you know, artists that all care for the cause, and then all the money will go to the artist in Brazil. So this really, really means so much to me, because it's an honor that these people are still here, that they share their ancestral knowledge. You know, when you go to one of these ceremonies, it's thousands of years of tradition and the magic of humanity that we have really lost in the West. So we need to do all we can to protect them and protect the rainforest. Their forest is being destroyed, obviously in Brazil, the illegal mining, the water's being poisoned, the fires, Bolsonaro, you know, it's just so much they're up against that we can really help them.
As we rounded off an amazing chat with Maya, Alan was given some Kambo frog medicine. A mini ceremony was performed where he was given one spot of the frog secretion on his arm, which helps cleanse the body physically, mentally and emotionally.
Thank you, Maya.
You're starting to feel in your body? Yeah. Let it go around, do a bit of scanning around in your body, seeing what's up.
The heat's beginning to build.
Yeah, we can see. Oh, I can see it. Nice colour in your face. Just come back from Tenerife.
Strong.
Yeah, it is.
Strong.
You're doing really well. So just wait a little bit more. I think the colour is now coming down a little bit, and we'll take it off and we'll close.
Yes.
Thank you, Frog. Thank you, Frog.